Welcome to Catholic Messenger Conversations podcast. Today's conversation with Bishop Dennis Walsh focuses on his response to the appointment of one of our diocesan priests to the episcopacy for the Baker, Oregon diocese. Bishop-elect Tom Hennon is not only the Vicar General for our diocese, who works closely with Bishop Walsh, but also pastor of our diocese mother church, Sacred Heart Cathedral in Davenport. Those are major positions to fill. So let's get this conversation rolling. Bishop, what was your reaction to learning that Pope Leo XIV was appointing Father Hennon to serve as Bishop of Baker?
I was surprised to hear the news. I'm not really surprised. I think eventually, I think I knew that Tom would eventually be bishop somewhere. I think most people had that understanding that it would probably happen eventually. Tom's just, Father Bishop-elect Hennon is just a fine priest and just a great example of priesthood, and so I wasn't surprised really that he was named bishop. So I got the call shortly, maybe 20 minutes before Father Hennon got the call. The nuncio called me. I was traveling back from Ohio. I just come back from a trip, and I was in Ohio briefly, and coming back to Davenport. So I was traveling on the road, and I saw that the nuncio called, and I answered the call. Patches through my car and had a conversation, and the nuncio told me then that Father Hennon was appointed by Pope Leo to be the bishop of Baker, Oregon. I expressed my sorrow at that. I said I knew it was coming eventually. I just it'll be a big loss for the Diocese of Davenport. Father Hennon plays a pretty important role as the Vicar General for the diocese, and that is a big position in the diocese. So the nuncio told me, he says, yeah, I know. He says, but you know how it works. So he asked me for Father Hennon's telephone number. I was driving. I said I need to pull off. I called him a couple minutes later with Father Hennon's telephone number, and then Father Hennon's first call was to me, and that's pretty customary that one contacts their own bishop first. I think Father Hennon was pretty shocked. So I was expecting his call, and it was pretty shocking, I think, and the surprise was evident in his voice in terms of expressing the surprise of the whole thing. And as a bishop, Father Hennon is only 47 years old, so it's a long time to be bishop. He'll probably be bishop of a diocese for 30 years. That's a long time. And I said you'll probably be bishop of 2 or 3 dioceses in your time as a bishop. But
wow.
When the news comes, it comes as a shock. And I think Father Hennon is certainly capable of doing the task, and so it's a great appointment for him and for the church. But again, it's also a big loss for the Diocese of Davenport.
Yes. I was wondering, it's just been a little more than a year ago that you were a diocesan priest, newly appointed as bishop of our diocese. And I was just wondering what parallels come to mind regarding your experience and his experience.
Sure. I on my phone call with Father Hennon, I said I'll be in Davenport shortly, and I said, how about we meet tonight? And so we met about 9:00 at night that very night, and just to give him the opportunity to share with somebody. You're not allowed to tell anybody, so you're not allowed to share the news with anyone. So the only ones that knew really were Father Hennon and myself and the nuncio, and also the current bishop of Baker, Oregon. So you're not allowed to tell anybody, and that's it's a call that changes one's life. And what makes it even more difficult is that you can't talk to anybody about it. So
why is that? I've never understood that. I mean, if you've already been appointed, why do you have to wait till?
I think it's a courtesy to the people of the diocese you're leaving, as well as the diocese that you're going to, as well as coordinating with the Roman Dicastery as well as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. So there's a lot of parties that all need to coordinate a time when everybody hears it at the same time.
I see.
And it's difficult when people kind of hear secondhand that someone's going to be a bishop and where they're going to be bishop before the people of that diocese even knows.
I see.
What's happening.
That makes
so
sense.
It's an effort really to coordinate the communications of everything and to have everything ready when it happens.
I mean, you were really shocked too when you were.
I was shocked, yes, and I mean, Father Hennon's been heavily involved in diocesan administration as the Vicar General for a number of years. I was not. I never saw myself as a potential bishop candidate at all. I was involved in a lot of administrative committees, but I was never involved directly with diocesan governance in my home diocese. So.
But weren't you an advisor to your bishop?
I was chairman of the College of Consultors. I was past president of the Presbyteral Council. I was trustee for a number of trusts that are established in the diocese. I've been involved in priest finance or for priest retirement committee, those sorts of things. So I've been involved in a lot of committee work and consultation work.
So a lot of behind the scenes kinds of things that keep a diocese
correct,
going,
kind of the
right?
grunt work. So.
Wow. How did Bishop Daniel Thomas of your home diocese of Toledo, Ohio, support and guide you through the announcement of your appointment and that transition time?
Sure. I think I shared previously that when I got the call, and again, my first call was to my bishop, Bishop Daniel Thomas, and I think I shared that when I called, he hung up on me.
Oh, that's right.
And he was not in a public place to be, or he was not in a private place where he could talk. He was in a public place.
I forgot about that.
So I called him again, and it just went right to voicemail. So I was sitting on the information, unable to talk to anybody. And
Oh,
so
my gosh.
Probably he called me back maybe 9 o'clock that night, and when he was in a place of privacy that he could talk to me, he knew what the call was about. So. However, Bishop Thomas was extraordinary with offering me the emotional support, the prayerful support as well. He called me several times during those 2 or 3 weeks before it became public, with support. Also, Archbishop Zinkula from Dubuque, who was the previous bishop of Davenport. Also called in support. And I remember receiving a text message from Archbishop Zinkula, and the text message was, "How are you doing with this little thing?" And it was I found pretty humorous, and again recognizing that you're not able to talk to anybody about it in process. So Bishop Thomas was just very, very supportive with here are the next steps. It's probably the issue that can probably be improved a little bit in the process is once you get the call, you're not sure what the next steps are.
Oh, yeah.
And who you're supposed to be contacting, what you're supposed to be doing. The nuncio doesn't tell you very much other than that you've been appointed and that there are some things that you have to do. You have to write a letter to the Holy Father officially accepting the appointment.
Oh, okay.
So you have to write a letter to the Pope and when I was appointed, no one told me that, so I probably didn't find out a week later, and I found out it's supposed to be one of the first things you do, and
Oh, wow.
so it's tough. So I made sure Father Hennon knew to write his letter to the Holy Father accepting the assignment. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
But there's a lot of work to be done. So Bishop Thomas with me, I mean, we were in a convocation of priests, which is about a week long. Usually at an off-site place where we all gather as a presbyterate together. Two of those nights during the convocation, we met to talk about the next steps, what needs to be done, and planning your motto and your coat of arms and who you need to be contacting. So
So, and you're able to, 'cause that was my next question is what pearls of wisdom or tips have you shared with Bishop-elect?
The first thing I did, there was a booklet published by the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. So what do you do when you get the call? And it's
called Ghostbusters, right?
It's about 15 pages, a little booklet of all the things that need to happen. And again, I got that maybe a week late. Father Tom never really received it, so I gave him my copy, so he had it from the beginning. So, which I think was very helpful for him in terms of what comes next and what do you need to do, preparing for the press conference and the public announcement and everything.
That's right. You would have to know that it's available, wouldn't you? And
Correct.
as someone who's just like a deer caught in the headlights, you're not thinking about those kinds of things.
Completely unaware that even exists, and so it's a great resource. Other countries don't have the resource. I mean, when I was in Rome, a lot of bishops expressed it would be great to have a resource, but the U.S. does have one, but the other dioceses in the world maybe don't have one. But we're very fortunate that we have all that.
Can you share a couple? I mean, I suppose we could look it up online, but what are a couple of examples of tips?
Just the letter to the Holy Father, where to send it, how to send it.
Okay.
Also, the vendors about getting measured for your new vestments and clothing and stuff like that. And then when you first take over in a diocese, what are the first things you should do as bishop? What are the things you need to look at? You need to examine. So, for example, if there's a university, you need to review the mandatum of the theological faculty and so forth. So, those are all the details. I mean, usually one of the first steps is inspecting the audit report for the safe environment principles of the diocese. So it gives you a whole list of things that should be reviewed very early
Did that
on.
seem overwhelming, especially since you're still straddling?
It
I mean,
does,
because you're still doing all of the work that your current position involved while also preparing to become a bishop.
So my situation was, I mean, I was in my position as pastor for quite a while. It's just, as pastor, the parish I was at there's some transition things that the bishop wanted to accomplish before I left. And so I really committed myself to that almost to the end. So I was pretty much in place until the end of August. And then I was ordained a bishop on September 27th. So, so I was in place. I think Father Tom will have a little more time, and I say that's one of the things I suggested to Father Hennon is that to give yourself time. So because it feels like you're running from one assignment to another, and you just never stop running. To be able to take the time away to be able to have a break and a closure to one place and.
Aren't you supposed to do like a spiritual retreat or some kind of a retreat?
There's a retreat required, so for me, it was I left my assignment, did my retreat, went to bishop school, came back, and a couple days later, I was ordained. So everything just was back to back, and there was no real free days in between any of those things.
So was the retreat helpful for you?
The retreat was very helpful. Yeah, so it was just an opportunity to reflect upon the ministry of bishop. For my retreat, a Bishop Thomas of Toledo suggested to me that I read Pope John Paul, his reflection on when he was appointed Bishop of Krakow. Cool. The name of the book is Arise, Let Us Be on Our Way, and it's about sort of his reflection on the Episcopal ministry. So
that's neat.
That was sort of the source and the content of my retreat.
Wow, that's great. And then I was just wondering too, I'm moving a little bit back and forth, but what are some of the qualities or qualifications that you see in Bishop-elect Hennon that make him a good choice for a bishop?
I just think he has great people skills and the ability to interact with people and to reach people. I think he's pretty balanced theologically and has exercised great prudence and leadership abilities. So I just think he has a well-rounded human skills that would be beneficial for the episcopacy.
Oh, that's great. And then I was wondering, what was the most challenging aspect for you in transitioning from diocesan priest to bishop?
I would say the biggest challenge, and I think it'll be the same for Father Hennon, the biggest challenge for me was coming to a place where I knew no one. I mean,
okay.
Coming to a diocese where you're not familiar with the traditions, the stories of the diocese, the history of the diocese, the people of the diocese. Yeah, and especially the priest. I mean, they don't know you and you don't know them, and there's some benefit to that, but there's also sort of significant challenges to that. And I'm sure Father Hennon going to Oregon will know the same challenges on that level. So.
Wow. Okay, and then I was wondering, what are some of the challenges in preparing to find a replacement as Vicar General and the pastor for Sacred Heart Cathedral?
Those challenges are, it's very difficult to find people who have the qualities to be bishop. And those are the same challenges that make it difficult to find a vicar general. So you would expect in your vicar general to identify the people who also have the qualities to perhaps be bishop. I mean, the vicar is one who stands in your place when you're not available, and so they basically stand in place of the bishop. A vicar general has all of the administrative authority that a bishop has. So you kind of look for the same qualities, and not everybody has those qualities. So.
Right. So that's a challenge. And plus, it's not like we have an abundance of priests in this diocese either, right?
There are not, and in this Father Tom being moved to Oregon, as we try to navigate how do we fill not only the position of Vicar General, but also how do we fill the position of the rector of the cathedral. And do they need to be coupled? Is the Vicar General always the rector of the cathedral,
right.
Or can we separate them and have a different rector of the cathedral and then a different person as Vicar General? So a lot of discussions are going to be had here in Davenport about how we're going to fulfill or fill that position.
Mm-hmm. Have you? So when do you see yourself filling that position? Will that be?
Well, we're having some conversations now about that on an internal level of generating names. So it all depends on people saying yes, and what makes here in this diocese particularly difficult is moving somebody to a new position at this point also involves 2 or 3 other transfers. So there's a lot of conversations that need to be had at this stage of the game. So I mean, we really had most of our transfers in place already before all this happened, and now it sort of opens up a window, and there are probably going to be a few more transfers just to kind of fill all the spots that this move of Father Hennon to Oregon, it leaves a hole, and it's a hole that has to be filled. So it's quite a challenge.
Wow. And then I was just wondering, what are some of the joys and challenges that you've experienced in your 10 months as bishop?
I would say the joys have been just getting out into the parishes, meeting people. I've enjoyed the installation of new pastors. I've enjoyed the confirmations. I enjoy the hospitality that I've received in all the places of the diocese that I have visited. So those are the joys for me. The challenges is just the travel. The travel commitment is extraordinary. It's a huge area to cover.
Yes.
And a bishop always wants to be present to his parishes, but and the example I use is, I wanted to get to fish fries during Lent in some of the parishes. Fish fry, and it might be an hour and a half travel time, and maybe an hour at the parish and an hour and a half back. And that's about a 5 or 6 hour commitment just to be present to one fish fry. Right now we're in fair season. I've gotten a few invitations to county fairs. I'm going probably tomorrow night to the Muscatine County Fair. So again, it involves travel. So travel is probably the biggest challenge. The other biggest challenge is the personnel shortage of priests and filling all the assignments with a very limited number of clergy.
Yeah. Well, that's a tough one, but going back to the county fairs, that's something I know enjoyed when you were in Ohio, right?
It is. I mean, I've always enjoyed getting to the county fair, seeing the 4-H projects of the kids and going into the animal barns and and kids are always very proud to show off their work. So I always enjoy seeing all that.
And that's a good way to get to know some of the.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Well, and not even just the people who are regular churchgoers, but people maybe who. I mean, it's an opportunity to evangelize, right?
It is, yeah.
Just your presence there in
Yep.
the midst of the cows and the
Sure.
and the pigs and the.
I just think the bishop needs to be present to people. I think having a relationship with the bishop as someone who is concerned about us and cares for us is it's important that he's not just some distant person in a distant office that's completely unrelated to our day-to-day life,
Yeah, exactly. And so, how does your experience as a bishop differ from what your expectations were a year ago? I mean, maybe you didn't go in with many expectations, but I imagine you probably did.
The big question I always had before I was a bishop is, what does a bishop do all day? I don't have that question anymore. So it's there's a lot of administrative work that goes on every day. That's quite the challenge. I don't know that I was expecting that level of work prior to being bishop. I mean, as pastor, I felt a lot more control over my calendar, my schedule than I do as bishop. So it's a pretty full calendar most days, and it's not easy to clear things up. For example, my mother was just here for my birthday this week, and I think it involved a lot of moving around just to be able to open up time for me to spend with my family. So it's not an easy thing,
Well, happy birthday! This is a milestone, right?
60, the big 6-0, yes.
Big 6-0. And have you taken stock of what's happened these past 60 years?
Not really. I haven't done any of that. I mean, I've been doing a lot of email and messages to people expressing their good wishes. Prior to me being bishop, I don't think I've gotten this much attention. But now that I'm bishop, I've gotten a lot more birthday greetings from friends that ordinarily would have forgotten.
Oh, that's
forgotten
so
about
funny.
it. So, it's been a full day yesterday, just responding to and keeping up correspondence with old friends.
I'm just curious, were you amazed at the number of letters, emails? I mean, what's that like? Are you inundated, and how do you deal with? I have no idea what the quantity of emails you must
It's
receive.
quite a few emails. So everybody, I think with email, the issue is that it's accessible to everybody, and it's quick to whip off an email. Sometimes not always thoughtfully put together, and it just oftentimes there's just raw emotion. So I mean, I get all of those, and it's really impossible to keep up with responding to everybody. It's the volume is extraordinary, and some of it's just good and just kind of expressing support. Some of it's complaining about pastors, church, and all sorts of things. And I wish I could respond to all of them, and then people get angry because the bishop didn't respond. But it's impossible really to respond to the volume of email, cards, and letters, and all of those things.
Exactly. Do you ever experience homesickness for your home diocese and family and friends?
I have not. I mean, most of my priesthood has been away actually from family, so it's never been an issue that I've ever struggled with in terms of being away from home. Mm-hmm. I being this far away, I mean, I had a support group of priests in Toledo, which was great. So I'm going back there in about 2 weeks, and on the summer we usually get a place on Lake Erie.
Oh, neat.
So we do that every year. So I'll be going back for that. I'm grateful that they invited me back for that. So
Oh, that's terrific. Because you really need that, don't you, even as a bishop?
correct, yeah.
Is that the hard thing? I mean, in terms of being able to have that kind of, those kinds of relationships when you're a...
It is hard. I would say as a priest, you're part of a presbyterate and part of a body of brothers, and people are much more likely to call and say, let's go to a movie, or let's go grab something to eat, and all these things, and let's take a trip together. But when you're a bishop, it doesn't really happen as much,
Right.
because your priest friends are back in another diocese, and nobody knows you in your current diocese, so
Right.
It is a challenge.
And probably priests wouldn't feel as comfortable either, right?
They do not, correct.
Okay,
So,
I just wondered about that.
yeah.
Who do you seek advice from when you have questions in your ministry as a bishop?
Bishop Thomas in Toledo has been a great resource for me, and he's been bishop for quite a while, so he's a lot of experience, and so I get advice from him. The bishops of Iowa generally meet every month on a Zoom call.
Oh,
And
okay.
just kind of an opportunity to bounce things off each other. So those also happen. I've enjoyed, in January we have our Region 9 retreat in San Diego, which just a great time to meet the bishops of our region, and also the USCCB meeting. So the bishops do a lot of things to try to promote fraternity.
Oh, that's great.
among the bishops.
So you keep in touch with, or you kind of establish relationships with them, and
We're getting there. So I've only been part of the body for about a year or less than a year. So so as we move forward, I'm sure it'll happen more. So
Now, will you be involved in the ordination mass for Bishop-elect?
sure, Bishop
Hennen?
or Bishop-elect Hennen has asked me to be a co-consecrator.
Okay.
So I believe the principal consecrator will be Archbishop Sample, and he's asked Bishop Carey of Baker to be co-consecrator, and then he's asked me to be the other co-consecrator. So I'm very honored that he's asked me to be one of his co-consecrators.
Oh, that's great. And he's still giving you advice right now, isn't he? I imagine, as your vicar general.
There's some things that he wants to bring to closure before he goes. I mean, he doesn't want to just kind of close the books and say, you're on your own. So
That's right.
he's working very hard to bring closure to a couple of things
Oh,
that
that's
he's been
great.
working on. So
Well, very good. Bishop, it's always a pleasure to be able to have a conversation with you. So
Thank you.
I know your schedule's always busy, but let's keep having these conversations. I
thank
think
you.
people
Appreciate
enjoy
it. So
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
See you next time.